Hello, my name's Jamila Walker and I'm an artist. This is the second film that I'm doing for Ignition. It's all about art and sensory and play, and the main theme is nature. So I'm going to show you various activities that you can all do together and explore your outdoor spaces, whether they're in your gardens or on your walks or at your local parks. Okay, you don't need many materials, but I'll guide you through. Now we're going to do some painting, some still life painting. We're not going to use paint, we're going to use mud, glorious mud that I'm going to put in this red bucket. So for this activity, I need some water, a trowel, a bucket, some paintbrushes. Got some different sized ones here, very soft fluffy one, a very hard one that I didn't wash out properly and has glue all stuck in it, a slightly soft pointier one, and I've got this hard bristly stipply one as well. But just use whatever you've got to hand, and some paper. Can be old magazine paper, it could be tissue paper, whatever you want. We're going to be experimental. Okay, so I've got my bucket, I'm going to get my trowel and some water for the first bit. And we're going to go over here to where my daughter always digs for her mud. Okay, so I'm going to pour some water in here. Can you hear that? You see all the air bubbles and everything moving about? Sometimes it's really fun to get messy, but if you don't like getting messy, you could wear some special gloves. And then I'm going to mix, I'm going to dig, I'm going to mix my mud mixture so it's not super watery and it's a little bit thicker. That's a bit thin for my liking, so I'm going to add more and more soil to get a slightly thicker consistency. Oh yes, that's what I'm looking for. And now I'm going to trowel some of this mixture into here. Now if you've got different soil around your garden, you might have some clay or some darker bits of soil, you can get different colours. Now in my garden it looks like it's all pretty much this stuff here, so my picture is going to be brown, which is absolutely fine. So now we've got our painting material. Look at that wobble in there. Listen to that squelchy, horrible noise. Lovely. Okay, so I've got that ready. And now I need to find something to paint. So I put my paper here, ready, and I'm going to create a still life picture. So sometimes you do a bit of exploring. So follow me. Ooh. Got this is a little mud area for my daughter. I'm going to use this, I think, and this teapot. Often pictures have 3 things in, just gives it a little bit of balance. And this old cup. So I'm going to arrange these things on my table here. Do I like that? I think I might prefer it that way. Yeah. And then her a little bit more at the front. What do you think? I'm pleased with that. Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah. And now it's time to get painting. Okay, so I'm going to start painting now. I'm ready. So I'm going to just plot out the main items in the picture. Now, this is the first time I've ever used mud in a painting, so this is quite fun and experimental for me, and I'm quite enjoying it. So at the moment I'm painting this orange cup here. I'm going to try and aim to fill the whole paper. It's quite fun. It moves quite well. It's quite, you can see little bits of twig in there as well. Okay. Teapot. Some of that handle is hiding behind this orange handle here, so can't see all of it. Which is okay. Nice big round body. I haven't really left enough space for the spout. Never mind, it'll just come off. Just come off the paper instead. Let's do the turquoisey bit on the top. Of my teapot. Oh, I might use a smaller brush. This little princess here. I think she's called Sophia, from like a Disney program. She's quite happy to get muddy though. To add darker bits, you could add less wet bits of your mud to add some like extra shadow in there if you so wish. But I really don't think it matters. I think we're just gonna have fun and use mud in a new way. Well, it's definitely a new way for me. So there's her dress and her arms and her head. And maybe when this is dried, you could use some crayons or felt tips to add extra detail in. It's up to you. You'll have to work quickly because the mud dries very quickly, especially in this sunlight that I'm working in. Okay, I'm quite pleased. I'm especially pleased with my orange cup actually. Now I'm going to do a bit of the background, so a bit of the circular table. I'm holding my paintbrush quite near the end of the brush, so that means that I get a little bit less control, so it's a bit more fluid and fun. Sometimes if you use it like this, you feel all tight, but we want to be all fun and experimental. And so far, I haven't managed to get mud on my clothes. Oh, that's shocking. I'll put a bit of shadow underneath my items so they don't look like they're floating on the table. And yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. For my first ever time painting with mud, I hope you have a good time using these techniques. Now we're going to do a Colours of Nature treasure hunt. So for this activity you'll either need some paint or felt tips. If you're using paint, you're going to need some paint brushes and an old egg carton or one of these things that fruit holds in at the supermarket that people put fruit in. I think nectarines are in this one. So what we're going to do first is paint the bottom sort of almost flat bit of our cardboard containers. Now it doesn't have to be super neat, just trying to get an idea of the colour. Okay, so I've painted my first one orange, and this one There's a dark green. Oh, this paint is running out a bit. Never mind. Remember to put that in the bin, because otherwise it'll frustrate me again. So I'm going to use a felt tip for this dark green area. Okay, lovely. Brown. Let's see if brown has got any paint left in it. Oh yeah, a little bit. Brilliant. Purple. This is a very dark, rich purple. I love this purple. Excellent. That one worked. I've got some sky blue. I think there's some of that left in here. Lovely. Brilliant. And what colour should I use next? Maybe a light green. You can use any colours you like. So I'm using a felt tip here. Okay. Now if you've used paint, you might want to let this dry for a little bit, but for the purposes of this film, we're just going to go. Okay, so now we're going to hunt for things that match the colours in our egg box, and then if it's dry you can put those things inside if you're allowed to pick them. I mean, there are certain things we should never pick. Apparently these foxgloves here, these are not safe to touch. I just recently learned that. But I spy something orange over here. This orange flower would be perfect to go in there. Oh, I won't put it in there at the moment because this is wet. But dark green, we could definitely do dark green, couldn't we? Let's have a look for something dark green. What about over here? Now this is my garden, so I'm going to allow myself to pick this leaf here and put it in the dark green slot. A nice light green. What about this leaf here from the poppy? From the poppy flower. That would go perfectly in there. Now the sky is this perfect colour here at the moment. But unfortunately, we cannot put it in the egg box. So go around your garden and try and fill up your whole box with all your colour treasure hunting treasures. For this activity, we're going to need to get our baskets and bags ready to do some collecting, because we're going to make some land art, this time a mandala. So let's have a look in this flower bed here and see if there's any interesting flowers that you might want to pick for this mandala. I love collecting things. You do have to be really careful though, because some things aren't safe to touch, so always do it with a grown-up and ask before you touch anything, because they might irritate your skin or they might be really bad for you. And you'll notice so many different colours in your garden or on your walk. You think we just see green, but there's loads of different shades of green and loads of different textures. Look at all the veins on this leaf. They feel all knobbly and smooth and also a little bit silky as well. So have fun collecting, and you could collect loads of things on every wall. One day you might decide, I'm just going to collect leaves. Another day I'm just going to collect pine cones. It's up to you. So now I've got a few bits and bobs in my bag, in my basket. Now I'm going to make some land art. Okay, so a mandala is a circular pattern, and pattern often means that things match up. Now for the middle of my mandala, you can design yours however you want. I'm going to put this shiny rock in there. You might not be able to see it in this light, but it's very shiny and glimmery and rough, but then there are also some soft some smoother surfaces on it as well. So I've decided to put that in the middle, and then I'm going to use these big leaves to go all the way around it to start my pattern off. Now remember, your design can look however you want. You could even put some toys in your design. But the thing about these nature mandalas is they're not going to last. Unless you take a picture of them. Well, great idea, take a picture of them afterwards. So we're working in the moment. So I've got some big leaves here, and then in between them, I'm going to put some slightly smaller ones. Ah, the wind is against us. I'm going to put some smaller ones. I wonder if I've got two smaller ones to go in the middle there. Maybe not. I might swap those over and put some smaller ones in the middle there. In between there, these two instead. Okay. I'm going to try and work quickly before the wind blows my work away. Now I definitely want some colour. So I'm going to use these yellow flowers, which I only picked from my garden about 10 minutes ago, and they've already got all wrinkled and soft and a little drier in the heat. That's quite interesting. Okay, and I've got these little purple flowers. I'm going to dot around and just try and create some symmetry. But it's your design. You can look however you want. I do think the purple and the yellow, because they're opposite colours, they bring the colour out of each of them. So they make the purples make the yellows brighter, and the yellows make the purples brighter. Does that make sense? Ah, I found some feathers as well. That's your grown up if you're allowed to touch feathers. I'm going to plop those in as well. Found a small fluffy one as well. Don't know where that one's gone. Ah, that can go opposite there. And your pattern can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm going to put some stones dotted all around as well, just to create lots of colour as well as texture. So have fun making your own mandala. Now we're going to do some printing. I've decided to use leaves because I think the patterns, especially on the back with all the veins, would be really effective. So you can use any natural items you want, maybe some bark, maybe some flowers, whatever you want to do. Okay, so I've got some paint, and I've got a tray, and I've got a paint palette, and I've also got some paper. You can use any paper you like, maybe old newspapers, magazines, or if you've got a drawing pad like mine, that'd be fine too. So what I'm going to do now is put a thin layer of paint, or if you have printing ink, even better, onto my tray. Try and keep it quite flat and quite even. And then I'm going to press my leaf nice and firmly. Try and get paint all over the back of it. And then gently peel it up. Has it covered most of it? Maybe a bit more. Fancy a little bit more paint, I think. Using my fingertips to press it in gently. I use quite a thick leaf so it doesn't break up too much. And then I think I'm going to make a pattern around the edge of my paper.
Well, that's annoying, isn't it?
It's okay, I can just carry on. Okay. Should we do another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready?
Now I'm going to crush up these dead, dry leaves and listen to all the sounds that come from it. Crackle, snap. Now I'm going to throw it up in the air like nature's confetti. And watch it flutter, flutter to the ground.